You guys have questions. I have some answers I asked on my Discord channel, on my Instagram. Both of those are in the description if you want to follow and be a part of the next Q&A. But Sarah's here. She's going to ask some of the questions. I'm going to try my best to be as brief as possible. That is not my forte, especially with fitness questions, but we're going to get going. So go ahead and hit me with that first question.
All right. So we've got some questions from Discord. We've got some from Instagram. We're going to start with the Discord ones.
Okay,
just
sounds
because
good.
I feel like
Shout out to the Discord channel.
Yes, absolutely. Join our Discord.
We're trying to revitalize the Discord. It's a little quiet at the moment. Join in, talk. We
Join
wanna hear
in,
you.
make it loud.
Yeah.
All right. First question. Mostly they're geared towards nutrition.
Yeah.
So the first one is, what are your thoughts on the calories in, calories out philosophy for nutrition?
Oh boy. Remember how I said I was going to try and keep this brief? Okay, so fundamentally, calories in, calories out is the first or second law of thermodynamics. I don't remember. It's one of the laws of thermodynamics, meaning that if you eat less calories than your body is burning, meaning if you take in calories in less than you are burning calories out, you will lose weight. This is a fundamental fact of physics and the universe that we live in. Now, that is also needlessly reductive when you're talking about coaching someone through a weight loss journey or when you're trying to set up a weight loss journey on your own. Because there are, of course, other factors that get you to calories in, calories out. So top of the pyramid, yes, calories in, calories out is the thing that is going to help you lose weight. However, there are hormonal factors, behavioral patterns. There are whether or not you live in a food scarce environment. Maybe you live in an environment with more fast food rather than whole food choices. A lot of inner cities in the United States deal with this problem. So it is needlessly reductive to just say, oh, it's just all calories in, calories out. And if you're a coach and you're doing that, you're not doing your job because your job is to sort through all of the excess that's going to help get your client to calories in, calories out.
Right. I think calories in, calories out is the rule. That is how it works. But there are various barriers that people might face.
100%.
And there are strategies to make it easier to fall on whatever side, surplus or deficit, you want to. Like what foods are you choosing? Are they filling, satiating?
Yeah.
Or are, you can absolutely lose weight on a Twinkie diet.
Yeah.
It's been proven.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be pretty friggin' hungry all the time.
Well, that's my favorite.
So are you going to be successful? Probably not.
Those are my two favorite studies. There's one studies where, and they're N equals 1. So they're not real studies, but they're singular experiments on a single human being. But there's one where a guy lost weight only eating Twinkies. And there's another where a guy lost weight only eating McDonald's. So it's possible. It's just, again,
you're making it a lot harder for yourself.
You are making it a lot tougher.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could go. Man,
I think that's a good answer for that. Let's move on to the next one.
Let's move on because tune into the podcast because maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, we can expound on it.
Go for it. Next one.
All right. When dieting, is there anything wrong with drinking water to stave off hunger?
Absolutely not. Water, 0 calories. I guarantee you most of you guys are not hydrated. You need to drink more water anyway. Also, pay attention to your sodium, potassium, and magnesium intakes, your electrolyte intake. But I use this tactic all the time. If I'm hungry, the question I ask is, am I really hungry? Am I just dehydrated or am I just bored? So usually drinking a glass of water relatively slowly, taking about 20 minutes, will kind of stave off those hunger pangs until your next meal.
Yeah. And then you can find out, were you just thirsty?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And then you can move on to the next.
Water, you'd be hard pressed to find a situation where more water is going to be a net negative.
Right.
Maybe if you're dying of hydro, whatever, where you're over consuming water, but that is incredibly
pretty
rare.
hard to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
All right. General thoughts on multivitamins and supplements.
Dude, these are
general thoughts.
I know I'm not a general guy. Yeah. These topics are not very general.
We've actually talked, I think, on the podcast
before
about vitamins and supplements. Yeah. So go watch the back catalog of all of our podcasts to find that.
We got 25 episodes of podcasts if you want to check that out. But also,
what are your general thoughts?
And I feel like I put out a reel on supplements.
I think you've put out
week.
A video. Yeah. There's some resources on the channel about that. But what's the
general idea is that you should be getting 90 to 95% of your vitamin and mineral content from whole food sources. The reason for that is we absorb the vitamins and minerals better. We digest them better in a whole food context. If you are hyper concerned that you are maybe deficient in a vitamin or mineral, first of all, get that checked.
Get some blood work
done. There's blood work that you can do to make sure. If you just want to cover your bases and you already have an incredibly solid whole food diet where you believe that you're getting everything, you just want to make sure, then you can supplement. I don't like multivitamins because I think that one, the supplement industry is not regulated enough, so it may not be dosed with what it's telling you that it is. Two, even if it is dosed with what it is telling you that it is, a multivitamin context allows them to kind of manipulate your daily recommended dose. Whereas if you're just taking, let's say, vitamin D, for example, you know that it's just going to be 1,500 IUs of vitamin D. Whereas in the multivitamin, it may not be what it is telling you. Right? So those are my thoughts. Supplementation is something that I go back and forth on. I've been a very heavy supplement guy. At the moment, I'm kind of a minimal supplement guy. I think it's important if you're trying to optimize. I don't think it's important for general population.
Yeah. And like you said, go get some blood work done. And that's going to tell you what you actually need. If you are if you're not deficient in anything, then you're kind of save your money.
Yeah, you're kind of just wasting money at that point.
And I think that's what I think it was when I was supplementing collagen for my arm injury. And we talked about, it can get really expensive really quickly.
Super fast.
And you kind of have to think about what your priorities are.
I am supplement agnostic. If you can afford it in the budget, if you feel a difference, even if it's just a placebo, who am I to tell you not to take X or Y if it doesn't have any major side effects? I'd say those are the three caveats. Yeah. So if you want to and you can afford it, go for it.
It's probably not going to hurt you, but it might be an unnecessary expense.
Understand the boost you might be getting may not be as impactful as you think it is, or as some of these gurus on podcasts are telling you that they're going to be, right?
Yeah.
Next up.
We've got one more Discord question.
Beautiful.
What would you even call a healthy weight? It's a great question.
Holy cow.
It's a great question.
Impossible to define.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, we're going through kind of that transition period now. The AMA has recommended not using BMI, which is a whole can of worms.
That's a big move, actually.
It's a massive move. It's steeped in a lot of cultural and political. The AMA is not a great organization in itself, whatever. Regardless, I think as a society, we are starting to understand that weight, and I'm talking pure weight, may not be the best correlator to health. Does it have correlation? Yes.
It does.
But can you look at someone who is 300 pounds and say, I know without a shadow of a doubt that you are going to experience metabolic disease as you age? No.
That's correct.
However, you can, with more certainty, with a body fat percentage measurement or a waist to hip circumference measurement, especially in men. So I think those tools are more impactful. To answer the question, I do not think that there is a pure healthy weight. I think that there is a healthy settling point for general human beings based on your height, based on your history for type 2 diabetes, general cardiac diseases, all that type of stuff. But you have to determine that for yourself. For me, an example from my own life, I went through a very hefty calorie deficit to get down to about 240 pounds and realized that at 240 pounds, I don't have the strength that I would like to have. I didn't feel like myself. I felt, subjectively, I felt smaller than I wanted to look. I've always been a bigger guy. I like having a presence. So I'm settling at a higher weight class at around 270 pounds. And I'm doing a lot of work. I'm checking my blood pressure. I'm trying to make sure my body fat percentage is low so that I can be at 270 pounds, the healthiest 270 pounds that I can be at.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think your build has a lot to do with it. Like you said, you've always been a bigger guy. If I were 250 pounds, that would be a huge problem.
We would most likely see some markers for early type 2 diabetes, onset with use, some cardiac disease, if you were that weight.
Yeah. I'm shorter. I'm smaller.
Exactly.
I have my own healthy weight range. And
all that to say, you have to do experiments with yourself. I think the problem arises when people, with the body acceptance and positivity movements, when people say you shouldn't try. If someone has made the decision to lose weight, that's inherently fat phobic. I don't like that. No. Because who are you to say that the decision that someone else has made is fat phobic? I don't like that terminology. Yeah. But I also think that there are ranges of body sizes that can be deemed healthy. But that's on an individual basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think it's different for
there you go.
everyone. Yeah. All right. Let's see. No, that was all of Discord. We've got some Instagrammers.
I think this one's from Discord too.
Oh, okay. How important is a maintenance phase after a bulk or just in general?
Speaking directly to my soul here, maintenance is something that is so overlooked, especially in diet culture in the United States. I'm sure in the UK and Australia as well. English speaking nations that are concerned with diet is where I see this mostly. We are not good at maintenance. We are very good at weight loss. Like America does not have a weight loss problem.
No.
We can go on a crash diet for, 5-6 weeks, lose 30 pounds and be totally solid.
Right.
We do not understand how to maintain weight.
Yeah.
Specifically, this is after a bulk. I think after a bulk, a maintenance phase is not as impactful, still impactful, but not as impactful as after a deficit. Because after a deficit, you are in deep diet fatigue. There could be some hormonal fluctuations that have happened for you, where that maintenance phase allows you to kind of come back to a new baseline. So yes, you can come back to a new baseline after a bulk if you want to stay that heavy. But in my world, in the powerlifting and the bodybuilding world, a bulk is usually followed with a cut. So you're not going to have the same amount of trouble going from bulk straight to cut. You may want to maintenance out and just not think about tracking for a little while, but it is very impactful to go from a deficit to maintenance, then to another bulk, because we see there is a heavy rebound effect. If you go straight from a deficit to a bulk, you're going to gain disproportionate number of or amount of fat rather than a true clean bulk is trying to gain muscle.
Interesting.
So there you go. There's a maintenance phase. I love maintenance phases. Do them. They're important.
They're hard, but
They're very hard, but they're very important.
All right, moving on to the Instagram questions. Here's a really hard-hitting one. Do you still play League?
League of Legends. I do not play League of Legends. I think my cousin asked me this. This is so funny. This was one of the first questions we got. And see, the questions don't have to be just about fitness. They can be about life as well. No, I played a lot of League of Legends in college. We played competitively. I was never very good. I do not have the reflexes to play video games that require any type of mouse speed anymore. So now it's just Teamfight Tactics, Legend of Zelda.
I love Legend of Zelda.
Baby games these days.
Games. Yeah. All right. How did you get into powerlifting?
How did I get into powerlifting? I think it was a happy accident. I wanted to turn my life around a little bit. You can listen to the podcast to hear about my story about 2020 and how I wanted to kind of change things around. And so long and short of it is I was getting back in the gym and basically just doing the things that I knew how to do from football and from a little bit of dabbling in like muscle and fitness magazines in college. And so I went to the one place where you can learn anything, and that's YouTube. And I just typed in like how to work out. And I came across a video from Calgary Barbell, which is one of my favorite YouTube channels. And I think it was their video on how to properly brace for the squat. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. I have not been squatting correctly. And then watched pretty much all of their videos and realized that Bryce, one of the main guys, is a champion powerlifter in Canada. I was like, what is powerlifting? Learn power. Do one thing after you finish watching this video, go watch their documentary called What is a Powerlifter? One of the best like pieces of fitness content because it is also narrative. It follows him through like, I think it was Canadian Nationals or maybe even Worlds. Fantastic. But after I saw that, I was like, I have to do that. And then the rest is history. I just kept learning on YouTube.
Yeah, that's great.
That's it.
That's great. What's your favorite exercise?
Impossible to choose.
You don't have one? Or what's your favorite day then?
So I think when I answered this question on my Instagram, I said back is my favorite to train. I could train back for the rest of my life and be happy. So it would probably be a deadlift. If I'm not sumo deadlifting at the time, which I switch back and forth. If it's a conventional deadlift, it's probably going to be that. If not, some type of barbell row. Some barbell row variation or a T-bar. You just feel so strong when you're.
I love a row.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Man, no, I love a row because you've never done a barbell row.
I've not done a barbell row.
Freaking huge amount of metal clanging around. It's great. There's nothing more primal to me than the barbell row.
Really?
Yeah. So it'll probably end up being the barbell row.
All right, that's good. What is your mindset as a personal trainer?
Oh man, again.
Do you have like a philosophy?
This is a massive question.
Yeah.
I think the one constant is that it's always changing because as I gain more experience, as I come in contact with people from different walks of life, I realize that different humans need different styles of coaching. So far so that I have said to people, hey, I don't really think that you and I vibe or that you and I work well together. You may be looking for something different. I've had people come to me and say, hey, I want more of a high intensity interval style training. I do not do that, but I can point you in the direction of someone who could do that. So that's flexibility, I guess, is my core philosophy. And also just trying to get to the emotional and psychological side of this journey. Everybody that calls themselves a trainer or a coach knows enough of the physical stuff, knows enough how to program, how to set up a diet. What sets people apart, in my opinion, is the ability to connect on a human level, to motivate, to encourage, to kind of parse through all the jargon and all of the noise that goes along with a fitness program. That is what I really try to aspire to be as a trainer.
I think you're also an educator.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point. What's so funny is I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how personal trainers are always in a conundrum because a good personal trainer should make themselves redundant. They should teach the person everything that they need to know to never come back to me as a personal trainer.
Yeah. But you know what? We were talking about this last week on the podcast, I think, and I was thinking about it afterwards and thinking about like how a personal trainer ideally should work themselves out of a job.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I think the more that you educate your clients, the more they realize how good you are at teaching, the more they understand your expertise, and probably the more likely they would be to stay on with you longer term.
Yes.
Because they recognize the expertise that you have.
I think that's a great point. I think it depends on
the person. Yeah.
Some people just want to gain some knowledge, and I have no problem with that. I love that. Yeah. Come talk to me for 6 months, 8 months, whatever. Learn as much as you can. We will continue to, I still text people that I don't coach, like they have questions. Hey, coach, what's up with this and that? That's perfectly fine. It does not always have to be a transactional relationship. But for the people that do want to stay with me, like I have people that I've been training since, 2-3 years. And it has moved from a traditional coach-client relationship to more of it's still coach-client, but more of a friendship, more of like an encouragement type thing.
Accountability,
that type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. We've got 2 more.
Nice.
Favorite hobby or hobbies besides lifting?
Oh, geez. I all of my time is spent either lifting, programming, or making content.
Or playing Zelda with me.
So that was the one thing. I was a big gamer in college.
Yeah.
I kind of fell out of that as my schedule got crazier and crazier. Games weren't really doing it for me, but I've cycled back a little bit. We're playing Zelda together. I think the together aspect of it is what makes it fun.
Yeah. And by playing it together, he means
she's watching while I'm playing. Yeah. Well, that's fine.
But I enjoy it.
So I've been playing video games as kind of a way to, just stop thinking because I'm always,
relax. I think is the word you're looking for.
No, it's more than that. It's
just to disconnect from
turn my brain
work.
off, man. Because
that's what a hobby is. I think it's something you enjoy, but that allows you to disconnect from your typical stresses.
Yes, and the issue for me is I have always tried to monetize my hobbies. All of the fun things that I do, video making, fitness, all that stuff, I've been like, how can I turn this into a career?
Yeah.
So I'm finding stuff where I just can't monetize it. I'm also trying to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
If you've been following the channel for a while, I've been trying to learn Spanish for a long time.
But we're really going to do it this time.
This time I have made a goal. In 6 months, I'm going to be fluent in Spanish. Fluent. So by the end of this year, fluent in Spanish. And I've already Sarah speaks Spanish, so she's helping me. Because my problem is being able to speak. I can understand it pretty well. I can read it pretty well. But I cannot form the words on my own just yet.
In real time.
Real time.
Well, practice makes perfect. Right?
Exactly.
All right. Last question.
Last one. Let's do it.
How do you set goals for your own training?
This was a great question. I really liked this question because my past has always been kind of colored in negativity. I like to say that I'm a realist. In actuality, I can get very pessimistic.
You're an Eeyore.
I am an Eeyore. And I was listening to a podcast because I walk a lot. So I need stuff to just like listen to. And I don't remember who said it, or there's a book about setting massive goals. Someone was saying that people are burnt out on their goals because they're not big enough. And I was like, what? That's crazy. Because for me, it's always like set something manageable and attainable and achievable. Yes, I think that makes sense when you're starting something. But I've been in the powerlifting game, specifically in the fitness game now for 3-4 years. So those 5-pound, 10-pound goals don't really juice me up as much as the bigger stuff. So I just said, screw it. And I said, my goal is a 600-pound squat and a 700-pound deadlift. And I was just like, I didn't put a time limit on it. I'm just saying those are my goals. So, and those are massive goals. Right now I have a 560-pound deadlift and I have maybe a 520-pound squat on a good day when my quad isn't killing me. So I'm pretty far away, but that's what I need to kind of push myself forward.
Yeah. Well, and I think that gives you room to really see your progress and your journey over time.
Yeah. Because I know that the time horizon is going to be incredibly long to get to those things, but I think it's worth it. I honestly, I'm experimenting with bigger goals. Same thing with the YouTube channel. I used to always say, oh, if I can just get to 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers, screw that. I'm going to get to 100,000 subscribers.
Good. Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
like that's what it takes is that is when things are going bad, you need something like fantastical to grab onto that's going to keep you going motivated. So those are the goals. That's how I kind of do it. I also think there's value in setting attainable goals, especially as you begin a new thing.
Yeah.
But
I think you can do both at the same time.
true. That's a great point.
You know?
So that's all the questions.
That's the last one.
This is fun. I want to do more of this type of stuff. I want to build a community. I want to build more one-on-one type dialogue with you guys. So we'll probably probably not every month, but every 3 months, every quarter, maybe we'll try and do a Q&A. So join the Discord, follow me on Instagram so you can be involved in the next one. Thank you for asking the questions.
Anytime.
This would have just been me talking to myself.
Usually you ask the questions on the podcast, so I get to control the questions.
That's true.
Today.
A couple things. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, send the video around. Check out the podcast if you want more long form type content like this. We put one out every Monday. Thank you so much for watching. Get strong and stay strong.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
Get strong, stay strong.
There you go.
I'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.